Wow, hello, didn't see you there. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. Honestly, thank you for taking the time for watching this video. I haven't been very active on YouTube, and I just allow myself to be hit with inspiration or motivation instead of pushing it and getting out content that doesn't align with me in that moment. So thank you for having the patience. I've seen some people comment a little bit here and there, and I love that. I hope that everyone is having a lovely time during quarantine, especially because we are so lucky that we don't have COVID, that we're able to just kind of sit around and just wait for things to get better. I know that some people can be having hard times right now financially, so I hope things get better. We're all in this right now, and I think that this calls for humanity to be a lot more sympathetic, and it also shows in some aspects there's a lot of people doing a lot of good for the communities right now. We're all here for you. Hopefully this can end soon. But in the meantime, I have been having an amazing time because I was in such a deep, dark hole a few months back while I was in Montreal. And coming back home to Michigan really helped me to kind of just feel grounded and happy again and turn my thoughts into positive ones again. And I'm grateful for that. So in light of thinking more positively, I have printed out a piece of paper talking about all the things that I've learned during quarantine. Of course, I could name 1,000 more things. I just wanted to talk about 3 main things, and that is finding peace or slowing things down, noticing bad habits, and owning up to my people skills or emotional intelligence. I had actually put up a poll on Instagram asking what you guys had learned during quarantine, and so I'm going to add that at the end of the video. I've been doing a lot of introspective work lately because I was in such a bad state, emotionally, financially, relationship-wise, with a lot of things before I came here. I was able to use quarantine as a retreat, as a way to cleanse my soul in that moment. It was exactly what I needed. I had lost the main structure and foundation of who I am because of certain reasons. I'm not going to name them. There's a lot of noise because I'm outside, but this is the best lighting and the best spot for me right now. So sorry if there's any extra noise. But yeah, so I felt that before I came back to Michigan, I had lost touch of my foundational base. Emotionally, with morals too, with being productive, I had lost a lot of motivation for everything, and I had lost hope also. To be honest, I want to be really crystal clear about a lot of things because I feel it's important to be transparent. There's no point in hiding stuff. We're all going through life. We all don't know what the hell we're doing, but we're just kind of navigating through it, and I want to share that with you. So I was going through a lot of problems relationship-wise, and at one point, I couldn't even pay for my apartment. I was going through a lot of emotions. I had final exams at McGill University. I was going through a really deep, dark hole. Through depression, I even had problems eating again. I wasn't hungry. It wasn't that I was throwing up again at all, but I just wasn't hungry. My emotions had taken over me completely to the point where I wasn't even doing yoga. I didn't feel like I was able to connect my breath with my body because I was in my head too much. So the first thing on the list is finding peace and slowing things down, and I just want to go through that. So the first thing was stop taking life so seriously or narrowly. Sometimes when we're frustrated about something, we tend to hound in on those emotions and forget the bigger picture. We forget to take care of ourselves sometimes. We forget to open our eyes because we might be in so much pain or so much worry or anxiety that it just takes over our mind. And in reality, it's one of the worst things that can happen because then you let that control your life instead of you consciously taking charge. Second one was daily meditation, being okay with not controlling whatever is going on in the moment. This is actually something that I've started taking really seriously in my life and implementing every single day. Seriously, meditating every day has changed my life so much. And it's not that I wasn't doing it before, it's that I wasn't being consistent. And so it would help me for one day, and then I would forget about it, and then a week later I'd be feeling shitty again and not knowing why. But obviously it was because I wasn't consistent. So now every day I wake up, I have my computer by my bed, which might not be good like with radiation, but I put my earphones in and I listen to a podcast, like a meditation podcast, or I listen to a Spotify meditation guide, or the sound of the sea, things like that. Seriously, it has changed my life so much. It grounds me every day. And when I say this, I don't mean like you don't check your phone before you do the meditation. You make sure that you are focused on yourself. You are cleansing yourself for the day, because you have to feel yourself mentally, physically, and meditating and taking the time for yourself before starting to worry about others and getting all this extra stimulus in is huge. It's huge. There's so many benefits to it. I'm not going to get into it, but I'll move on. Then daily reading. I've been doing this every day, feeling super good about it. I feel like intellectually I'm expanding more. I used to read a lot when I was a child. I noticed when I was in Montreal, I would try to read, but every time I did, I didn't have the patience for it or the time. And now that I'm in quarantine, there's really nothing else to do other than read and just take my time slowly. So it's helped me a lot, and I don't feel as sluggish as before. Like, I'm actually excited to read, not like annoyed. And I actually bought a lot of books, so I'm pushing to read, I don't know, maybe 8 books in all of summer, which might be a little or a lot, depending who you are. Next one is to be completely conscious and present in the moment. This one is huge because I noticed that every time I was talking to people, I would listen to them, but I was thinking about what to say next. And in reality, you're not really being there for them if that's what you're doing. And it can be hard because normally, like, in the mind of a student, you're always trying to think ahead. You're trying to plan things. You're trying to make sure you're on task. And so you always have a million things, and that's what I feel created a lot of chaos for me in my head. I wasn't separating things accordingly. I would mesh my events or activities together, and I was never able to fully focus 100% on one thing. Being completely conscious and present in the moment has turned my life around, and it's not something you can just do once and like it like works for you. It has to be something that you work on constantly for the rest of your life. Then I started listening to podcasts again, which I love because I don't have to read it. I can just listen, just read or paint or do other stuff at the same time. I've been drinking tea again. That's awesome. Instead of caffeine sometimes, I just drink tea and I feel amazing. Bubble baths, like spa days. I mean, there's not much to say there. I freaking love bubble baths, but what I've been doing is kind of changing it up and putting in flowers, bath salts, making it more romantic and like kind of like a self-date. Next thing is, it's okay to have a lazy day. There's no shame. You should feel good about taking time for yourself. Being lazy is okay sometimes. Accept it. Your body needs it. Your mind needs it. And then the last one under finding peace and slowing things down is getting back to nature, planting flowers, squirrels, and walking in nature. I've been having a lot of fun being outside. I have even planted flowers, vegetables, and my family actually has a lot of squirrels that come and visit us, and we feed them nuts every single day. We've even named the squirrels. We love them so much. And yeah, it's been really fun connecting and realizing like, geez, like these squirrels really, they each have a personality, and this is stuff that I would never have noticed until quarantine, because you just don't think about it. You see a squirrel and you're like, it looks like every other squirrel, but no, they're so different and so unique and so beautiful. Second topic was noticing bad habits. When I came back to Michigan from Montreal for quarantine reasons, I realized I had horrible habits, and they were taking over me, and I noticed that if I didn't take action, there was nothing that was going to change. I was going to stay in this negative mindset, having trouble feeling motivated and energetic in the mornings. Yeah, so I'm going to say some things that I realized I had when I came here, and kind of just flipping things to be a better person and be more motivated and be more on top of my work. So the first thing is staying up late. I stayed up really late when I first arrived, and I would sleep in really late, and even though I slept like more than 10 hours every night, I would wake up super tired. So irregular sleep patterns were kind of taking over me, and I'm glad I changed that. And it's something I'll have to work on forever because I'm just naturally a night owl. But now, Actually, this week was the first week where I finally felt tired at 7 p.m. I was like, what is happening? I actually feel like sleeping now. And it's a beautiful feeling. I feel normal again. Then the next one is procrastinating like a boss. That's given. I'm a big procrastinator, especially because I don't post enough on YouTube, but I would love to do more. Just realizing that I am limiting myself on my own. Like, I can't wait for anybody else to tell me what to do or when to do it. I have to take action myself, and that's something that's changed my life a little bit. I realized I was eating a lot of junk food, frozen food, while in Montreal, and it probably had a huge effect on my mood. Like, I wasn't connecting as much with fresh vegetables and things as much as I could have. But now I make food with my family every day, and we make fresh meals that take like an hour or two every day to make. So that's super wholesome, and it changes everything. Next thing is overthinking. I do this way too much. But also noticing that when you overthink, you're overthinking because you're overcompensating for an insecurity. That was my case, at least. And I noticed that there was no point in me overthinking this thing, because if I value myself so much and I want my life to be a certain way, focusing on this negativity or overthinking about a certain event or whatever it is was only going to drag me down. So just taking a stand and noticing how valuable and rare and powerful you are, there shouldn't be a reason for overthinking. Like, things are just going to go as they are, and at the end of the day, most likely you're going to be safe, you're going to be good. Things happen for a reason, and there's nothing you can do about it. Holding back and like staying in the past will not do anything for you until you're able to overcome that wall and let things go. Next one was waking up late, trying to become a morning person, because waking up early has changed my life. I woke up the other day at 7 a.m. and I looked outside and I saw the sun beaming through the trees, and there was even a bit of mist coming in through the trees, and I was in shock at the beauty of it. It was so freaking beautiful that it made me realize how grateful I am that I'm changing my habits. It's literally changing my life. I know a lot of things I'm talking about, I've said, changed my life, but waking up early is the real boss move, for real. You do so much more, you're so much more productive, so much more motivated. So I had so much more energy now that I wake up. I'm excited for the day, you know? Especially if you have a structured day, a structured morning. When I wake up and I do my meditation and then I do my yoga after, and I try to go outside almost right away, this changes everything, I swear. Implement it in your life if you don't already have it, if you want to change. I'll leave it at that. Next one was that I had a bad morning routine. I was touching my phone as soon as I woke up, and so now I don't touch my phone at all until around 11 or 12, and it changes everything, because when you wake up and you see all the messages that are in your phone, you start to like worry about what others want from you, you know, what you have to do in the day, and it takes away from balancing and stabilizing your soul in the day. When you wake up, you just came from this other realm, from like a dream or a nightmare. You have to find zen, you have to find a balancing point first, and honor that you woke up, that you had another day, and then focus on what other people need from you. That's at least what I've gone through, and it helps me so much. Next was realizing how impatient I was. Even during yoga classes that I was taking in my room during quarantine, I realized how impatient I was, and like kind of being annoyed at how slow they were teaching, just so impatient about how long it would take to cook food or how long it would take me to fall asleep or things like that. But once I made patience my friend, it was not about a tug of war, it was more of being okay and letting go, and realizing that if I felt this impatient, then I needed to work on it more. But I am just naturally a very impatient person, and I'm glad I'm working on it. I'll work on it for the rest of my life. Alright, next one was that I was watching too much YouTube and Netflix, and I was actually becoming tired of it. I was tired of watching a screen. I was tired of watching stuff that I already knew the outcome to it, because I had watched so much that like most things out there always end kind of the same. Yeah, at the end of the day, it was wasting my time. It was taking away time where I could be working on a side hustle or on school or learning things and skills that I could use in the future. So noticing that sometimes I go overboard with watching videos and Netflix, and that's okay sometimes. But as long as it's not taking over your life, it's okay. I noticed that I started becoming a Netflix-aholic in high school, and I think I've just gotten so used to it that now I'm really trying to detach from it because I know that there's so much more in life than that. I want to live my life to the fullest. I really do. Next one was finding things to create quality time hobbies. And when I say that, I mean doing things that make your soul happy. It doesn't have to be something that makes you 100% satisfied, because at the end of the day, almost nothing will make you 100% satisfied. But this can include drawing, this can include journaling, this can include working on a side business, actually doing something in your day that helps you become creative and expands your mind, basically. Last thing under this second topic is productivity does not mean happiness. If you just do stuff to do stuff, you won't advance. Your body will slow down to protect itself. Allow it. This is something I actually told my friend in Montreal. Noticing that it's okay to take things slow. Sometimes I do this myself. I try to be productive to overcompensate a feeling of impatience or unsatisfactory emotions. And at the end of the day, if you just try to be productive to do something, that's okay. But realize you don't have to be productive in your day. Being productive does not make you a better person. It does in certain accounts, but not being productive is not a bad thing. Everyone has their skills, has their good qualities, but it's okay to not be productive sometimes. Allow yourself to be in the moment and not compare yourself to others who might be more productive than you. It doesn't mean that they're better or more successful than you. It's just that they have a different way of structuring their days. So the third topic is owning up to people, skills, and emotional intelligence. Noticing how much our emotions affect our day-to-day life is insane. And actually something I wanted to talk about is advice that I found recently that has helped me kind of balance my emotions and my decisions. When I arrived, I was so emotional that I actually would cry every day. And it wasn't that something bad had happened to me, it's just I had no control over my emotions. I was an emotional wreck, basically. And advice that I got and used in my life is the idea that you cannot connect your emotions to your identity. And it's something that I was doing without realizing it. Instead of feeling stressed and thinking, oh, I am stressed, change it so that you say, I'm feeling stressed. So you don't identify with it. You don't see it as part of who you are. Because in reality, it's just an emotion. It's like a cloud that passes through the sky. You're not connected to it. You just see it go by without judging. And at some point, it leaves, but you don't realize when it officially leaves, you know? It's a beautiful metaphor to explain that whatever you're going through, your emotions do not connect to your identity. It's not you. It's something that you have to experience and understand how to let go and process through. And you won't notice when it's finally gone until you do. And it'll be a click and you'll be like, wow, you know what? I've changed so much from this, I don't know, maybe 1 month before I was a different person and now I feel completely sane again, but I didn't have that like moment of epiphany of change, you know? It's just something that slowly goes on. Anyways, so the first thing on that list is that I don't always have to express my opinion. Sometimes when I listen to people talk and I don't agree, I used to always chime in and say, okay, well, I don't agree, but for this reason, I don't say you're wrong, but I don't agree. And I started to realize that I don't even have to express my opinion sometimes. Sometimes it's better to just listen and say, okay, cool, thanks for sharing. Sometimes people aren't looking for your opinion, and it sometimes even hurts you to talk about your opinion. But it's just because I felt that it was necessary, just something I noticed. Next thing was noticing how impatient or emotional I am and what is causing this. Of course, I went through a lot of stuff before I came to Michigan and I knew exactly where it was coming from, but being able to focus on these emotions and on what I was feeling head on was exactly what I needed to do, and it's the first step to healing. It's taking your problems head on, no matter how painful it might be, and learning to love that. Learning to love the experience of evolving and accepting flaws or other people's actions or words or whatnot. Next one is that my pets need more love. So when quarantine began, I noticed my pets. I have 1 dog and 2 cats at home. I was just realizing how sad it was that we had left my dog under my parents' care, and at the end of the day, he was just at home every single day in bed for hours on end because there was no one to play with. I just felt so sad for my dog, especially realizing that we had kind of forgotten about him for a while, taking the time to really connect and spend time with them, especially now that we can take them out for walks however many times we want. Like, there's no limit. Next is listening to my inner gut / feelings more and getting in tune with my inner self. What I mean by that is noticing what emotions I'm feeling, and instead of pushing them to the side, taking them head on and going with my intuition, because at the end of the day, whatever you feel, energy doesn't lie. That's the main point. Energy doesn't lie. So if you feel something is off or something suspicious or whatnot, your gut is going to tell you. You're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel stressed in certain parts of your bodies. And you have to listen to that because it's only going to get worse. It's only going to consume you. So taking time to do that. I could go on about this a lot, but I feel it's a very broad topic. And for me, it's something that's more physical. So I might go into it in another video. But honoring your gut feeling is super, super, super important. And making it your best friend is the best thing you can do. Next on the list is conscious de-stress. Helps me enormously. For example, when I first arrived here from Montreal and I was having a lot of anxiety and stress, I noticed that I had a lot of emotional buildup in my stomach and my chest. I was breathing really, really shallowly, and it was taking a toll. Like, at the end of the day, I realized that I consume a lot of energy. I absorb energy like crazy. I'm a very sensitive being, and so when I arrived, I was having a hard time breathing fully, like taking 3 to 5 seconds for every breath. And it was taking a toll on me for sure, because that means that it will affect my skin, my mental health, the way I digest, so many things. So what I started to do was to place my hand on my stomach and doing some little exercises for my breath to get out any air that was stuck in my body that just needed to get out. Like really cleansing out the air tubes and letting my blood circulate better. And when you consciously do this, you feel a huge difference. And something that I recommend, if you try this, imagine heat coming out from your hand onto your belly and purposely breathing at least 5 seconds for every inhale and exhale. And you'll feel a huge difference. But do not attach a result to this practice. Do not judge, because it takes time and it takes patience and a lot of luck. Next one is noticing how my thinking works. Habit books helped me break down the way my brain reacts and how to maximize the efficiency and outcome you want. So before I moved to Montreal, I used to watch a lot of habit videos, podcasts, things that talked about productivity, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be productive, and also understanding like the psychology behind your actions and behind your habits and all this. And it's super interesting. But when I had moved to Montreal and I had turned into this negative headspace, I realized that I was no longer motivated to watch these videos. I didn't feel connected to it. So now that I'm here in Michigan, I started watching them again, and I feel so good. I feel like I'm able to pinpoint how I think, how I process information, and how I react. And understanding how to control and manage these emotions and responses and feedbacks that you get all the time, whether you say it to yourself or other people say it, is super important. And it's a skill, an awareness skill, that I think should be taught in schools. Who knows, maybe it can make a huge difference for you too, but it's been a huge part of my life. Alright, next is realizing that my eating habits coincide with my emotions, or belly sadness. What I mean by that is every time I'm feeling low, I'm feeling down, I notice how I don't get an appetite. I'm not hungry. Instead of just allowing it to be like that, sometimes I'm able to manage it and say, you know what, I'm going to work on my belly massages or belly meditation to purposely get out any stress that I have in my digestive system that is holding me back from being able to be hungry, to want to eat. And this can help a lot for those who have eating disorders. Maybe trigger warning, but dealing with eating disorders, it's not something that you can just work on and fix quickly. It's something that most of us have to deal with for the rest of our lives, and consciously understand how our body and mind works to be able to coincide with those emotions and your physical responses. Okay, next on the list is getting lots of existential crisis thoughts, like time is much more valuable than I thought. And what I mean by that is towards the end of my healing here, I feel like I'm still going through a lot of healing, but I had a lot of existential crisis moments in the last few weeks where I felt that I was able to understand a lot of perspectives very quickly. And it kind of scared me because my reality was kind of changing. Like the way I was thinking of things changed really drastically, constantly. And kind of things would scare me. I would realize how valuable time was. I would start to realize things that I had done in the past that had hurt people and I felt really bad about it, or realizing how my parents are not going to be around my whole life. Of course, that's obvious, and I had thought about this before, but I was thinking about it in a really raw way. That might scare people, so I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I was going through a lot. Next is creating less expectations of others. That is pretty easy to understand. Putting desire to the side easily. So sometimes, because I used to live alone in Montreal, I was able to just do whatever I wanted. For example, I could watch Netflix the entire day and be fine. But now that I live here in Michigan again, with my family, I can't just do whatever I want. I need to be a lot more mature about that. It actually makes life so much better because I was overdosing on dopamine so much in Montreal, like either watching too much Netflix or hanging out too much with friends or buying the same types of food that I loved every time. It just made those awesome experiences something normal. It was no longer exciting to, buy cookies, or it made exceptional things mundane. And now that I'm here, I'm able to consciously manage everything so that when I do something that I really, really love, I get so much more dopamine. It's something of a treat instead of something that becomes an everyday thing. Alright, next is listening to my thoughts, letting them go by like clouds and not attaching the feelings to my identity, as I talked about earlier. And the last one under this third category is being nicer to myself and increasing my love for myself. There's nobody in this world that can be you. How lucky is that? And this is something that grounded me a lot when I finally sunk into the feeling and understood how beautiful it is that there's only one you in this world. And there's nobody that can take that away from you. There's nobody that can be exactly who you are. And that is such a beautiful, unique thing. So at the end of the day, if you're comparing yourself with other people, you're taking away that quality over quantity idea. You're kind of allowing yourself to be on the same level of others, when in reality, we're all so different that you can't compare each other. We're so beautiful. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that would take your spot if they could. But the beautiful thing is, you get to experience it. You get to be unique. You get to be you and nobody else. Nobody can take that from you. I just love that feeling. And it's a powerful thought. If you really, really believe it and you're able to connect the dots there, you're going to have so much confidence, so much self-love that you'll radiate it and others will be attracted by that and realize the same exact thing. All right, so for the last bit of the video, I know it's been a long talk, but I enjoy this. I really do. So the last thing is talking about the answers that you guys gave me on Instagram of what you have learned during quarantine, whether it's superficial or deep. I love all answers. So here are a few answers. I asked, what have you learned in quarantine? One person said, I've learned to be more appreciative of what and who I have in my life. Another person said, I feel like a different person. So much healing has happened. Getting out of the rat race of life. Very cool. Very cool. Probably making their own side businesses and taking a hold of what they really want in life instead of just following the crowd. That's cool. Third person said to appreciate the times when we get together, interact physically, of course. Next is that I don't need or miss the beep that I used to be doing, and I'm cool with being by myself. Completely agree. Next person says that this was exactly what I needed to stop putting off my tree work. Yes, I completely agree, and that's exactly what happened with me, realizing that I had all these amazing business ideas that I had wanted to do, but I had been limiting myself so much, and now that we have this time to basically sit around, it's the perfect moment to work on that. Next person says, I feel that we kind of take a lot for granted. We gotta take more time to appreciate everything. Yes, honey. Yes. Second to last is self-awareness and patience. And the last one was just saying, spreading love the Brooklyn way. Much love. So yeah, that was basically it, but I'm interested in hearing what you guys thought. I haven't seen any videos like this on YouTube, and I think it's important to pinpoint what we've learned. Life is a continuous learning course. It's something that you have to be aware, you have to keep an open mind, and it's important to analyze your life every now and then and realize if you're on track with what you want to do in life. Are you actually happy? Is there anything you want to do and that will make you feel fulfilled, or that will allow you to follow your dreams? So there's so much room to grow all the time, and what better thing to do than to keep going up. So with that, I'm gonna leave you guys. Please, if you liked my video, please like and subscribe. It honestly helps me a lot. I never talk about this stuff because this is what all YouTubers say, but it honestly will and does help me continue to make more content and put out more work. I love making videos and I love sharing with you guys, and I hope that you're all doing well. We're all in this together, so stay safe, and until next time.